Hello, I am Elena Niles, and this is my practicum highlight video. In this video, I will be showing the different activities I chose for my different portfolios, the district, elementary, and secondary portfolios. So I'm going to go by standard. So in the first standard about mission, vision, and improvement, I selected this activity over here that describes integrating ethics into the mission and vision statements. So that was a Prezi activity here where I had to read several articles and link it to the vision and vision of schools. So for my 1.2 standard, I had created a poster as my principal requested this, and with the vision and vision of the elementary school, not the district per se. So we did this with the core values, and then I also highlighted the school advancement teams. And as part of this activity also, we were analyzing the district new proposals for vision and mission. So we did an evaluation of that, and we had to make suggestions and speak about in a staff meeting, speak about those. So for the second standard, I have here different components in the in all of the portfolios. So I got the 2.1 here for ethics and professional norms. I selected a presentation that I did for the DLT meeting. This was part of a class and was about religions in schools. And then for the 2.2 standard, I created this poster or infographic that describes the how to make ethical decisions. This was a very, very useful activity for me, just because this is one of the questions you ask yourself as a future administrator, because there are many difficult decisions to make, and some of them are very easy, very black and white, and others you need to go through this analysis process. So this is something I'm going to keep very close to me as a reminder. It's very useful. Then we have this leadership style in ethics. So in this video, I made an analysis of different leadership styles and specifically my own leadership style. Then for the next standard, we have equity, inclusiveness, and cultural responsiveness. So I created this activity for one class, and I shared this with the high school dean of students. This person is transitioning into becoming our new high school principal, and she told me this was a great resource for her because they were actually having a meeting at that moment during that week, and they were having difficult conversations about locker rooms and field trips and how to protect students' rights that were transgender that we have in our district. So this was also a surprise for me how useful it was. Later, I have this special education procedural safeguards video that was also made as part of a class. This was a great practice for me because parents in our district are really shy about advocating for themselves and their students and their kids. So I wish I could, with this video, I would invite them to know their rights and empower them to be an important part of the special education team. So I hope this will be useful for them as well. Later, we also had a meeting with the district leadership team and the board, especially was the educational programming board committee, where we were talking about, we made an assessment of the goals that we had last year proposing for preschool this year. And we noticed that there is an equity issue here, and we're advocating for all of our students to have access to the same opportunities. So for the next standard, that is learning and instruction, I'm going to be moving here. Excuse me, there we go. gonna go here. Most of my standards were met at the elementary school level. I really, my wish is, my aspiration is to be an elementary school teacher, especially early elementary. So I had a wealth of activities here that I could choose from. For 4.1, I chose my activities as a online in the online learning academic support. I was invited to be part of this team because I really enjoy working with technology. And so many teachers in our district were having a hard time when the pandemic hit and they had to switch to completely online. So we met and we created different tools. We created a folder with resources. We created professional development that was differentiated for according to the age and grade level and expertise of teachers. And we had different opportunities for teachers to join us, and according also to their interests and what they perceive were their needs. And we also created a guide for parents. So I think this activity took a long time. We were meeting for weeks and creating and planning. So I think this was great, a great way to show how to design, implement strategies for to use technology. So the next standard will be 4.2, and that was here. And this was a webinar that I created, so why we all should be digital citizens. My administrators really liked this one, and they invited me, the secondary administrator, the district administrator, invited me to share this with other administrators as well, and they really like this, and I think this is gonna really happen. And they love that there was a little bit of humor there, so that was another successful activity. And for 4.3, I used the activities we made for summer school. I have been the director of the summer school in my former school, but my district has 2 elementary schools, but this year I will be the elementary summer school director for the whole district. And one thing that we did before was targeting students' needs specifically. The model was more of a tutoring session. So what we did is we found information on every child. Some teachers did not have the information we needed before classes ended. So what we ended up doing was testing students, doing a running record or a placement test. So we could decide this is what we're going to be doing with the student. We created a present level document, a document with present levels and a goal if the students was going to be coming to summer school for only reading, tutoring, or math as well. So we will have those. And as you can see, you can click in these documents and they will take you to the whole document. I just try to take the names away. And then we also created a report card. And this report card was very well received by the parents, by the teachers that would follow up the next year. They were very pleased to see what their levels were before they left school and the progress made during the summer and how much progress, and it was very specific. So I think this is a very good example of how we did with assessments. For the next one, the next standard, that is community and external leadership, I selected this video that I did. Last year, I was working at the Whitefield Elementary School and learned that I would be going to Lancaster Elementary School. So we had this assignment, and I was very excited to learn about my new community. Even though we're in the same districts, there are towns that are far apart and they have their own culture, and I knew pretty much nothing about. So this was a great opportunity for me to gather information about the demographics of the population I would be working with. So the next activity I chose for this community external leadership standard is the needs and resources activity that we did, internal and external, for one of our classes. So we did an analysis and we described how this looks in our district, in our school specifically. Again, if you click on it, you have access to the document. And I think there is one more for, this is one of my favorite ones. I did this activity that is called Adulting 101. And this was an activity that the high school principal, our dean of students, and me came up with. As a special ed teacher, I was having my mind the transition from seniors. So what we did is we created this Adulting 101 for senior students. So this was a website that I created from scratch just for this practicum. And what I did is identify community partners. And so what students can do, or future adults or independent students, go to different tabs and learn about how to access medical care, how to find affordable care, what happens. Most of them have insurance until they turn 26. Some of them do not. How can they apply? How can they find prescription an affordable cost? How can they find free planning support, family planning support? Where can they go? What are the rights? And another tool that I wanted to add for them, or resource, is what happens if they are victim of an abusive relationship. And I wanted to add that students or people that are, no matter if they're men or women, anybody can be in this situation, and I wanted to give them resources to help themselves or find help. Another one that I wanted to add was about mental health. We have a lot of problems here in New Hampshire with mental health, and when I arrived here six years ago, there was an epidemic of people dying of overdose with opioids. And so this is a community that is recovering from that. So we need all the resources that we can get, especially if you're a child who grew up with these problems. And of course, detoxing programs here, and resources for students that could be LGBTQ+. So hopefully the students will find resources here. So also we have some resources about money, financial freedom, financial education, how to access jobs in New Hampshire. We have a shortness of people, so there are many jobs, but what if you want a career? That's a different story. So hopefully this will be helpful for them. And housing, it is also problematic here in New Hampshire, finding a home, finding places to rent or places to buy. There are not homes available for rent and to buy. So hopefully this will be very, very useful for them. So after that, I work on the next standard. We have number 6, and this is operations and management. I had a wealth of activities to choose from here. It was very hard. Some of them I did not choose to put in the portfolio, but anyways, I had shared with my administrators, were very kind and very enthusiastic about using this. This is an admission tickets infographics stating all the policies and procedures in my district. I use this at the secondary level because they have lots of those. I share this with the technology director of our district, how to protect students' data. So he will be sharing this with other teachers and educators. Here is online learning planning committee. So we identify needs. And for the last standard, that is number 7, what I did is I'm going to try to go to the next one. Let me see if I can show you. It was the KEEP evaluation for the district, and I don't think I used, oh yes, I had building capacity. That was website. Giving great feedback. This is one of my favorites. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy this